Hey all, welcome back to the channel, welcome to Monday, welcome to Countdown Day. Today is a weird one. So recently I reviewed the Transformers Legacy United Star Raider Road Pig, and somebody suggested, hey, have you ever done a top 10 Transformers that have the word road in their name? And I said, you know what, that's quirky, but no, I've never done it, we've never voted on it, so we're going to do it today. These are the results of the fan votes. The top 10 Transformers who have the word road somewhere in their name. That's our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton to let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all of the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. So, like I said, this is going to be the top 10 Transformers with the word road in their name. And a lot of people said, are there even 10 that have road in their name? Indeed, there are. That and more. And of course, there were some people that tried to be jokers and stuff. Like, guys, I'm going to ask politely now, please don't. I have to take so much of my own time to count, amass, organize these votes, that when I have people that go on with like tangents and topics and jokes and stuff that they think is funny, but that's not topical, it just takes me out of the business at hand and is a distraction, and it causes me to take more time. I guess what I'm asking is please respect my time by following the rules of the vote. That's what I would say. But we'll get to a couple of those joke ones near the end. In fact, one of them that was done as a joke is actually a Transformer that I don't think any of the voters knew is actually a Transformer. So, what about our honorable mentions? We have one honorable mention, only one this time, and it is the live action version of Roadbuster. I counted that separate because it's definitely not like the G1 Generations version, for example. I mean, the live action one, we know that he's one of the wreckers in Dark of the Moon. We know he's a completely kind of his own character. So live action Roadbuster took an honorable mention. Did not rank on the list. Who did? What did? You know what we're going to do? We're going to kick things off with number 10. First. Coming in at number 10, we have this guy. That's right, it is G1 Roadblock, the Pretender version. Now, what can I say about it? He was a little robot inside of a transformable Pretender shell that had like another shell that was like a battle car, I guess you could call it. And the character, while not exactly prominent in fiction, is known to be like very cruel to his underlings. He is brutal and he expects his underlings to be just as brutal, and when they're not as brutal as him, he's going to be brutal to them. He is not the dude whose command you want to be under. He goes right into battle. He has zero fear. He expects everyone under him to have zero fear. Yeah, he's not the leader that you want to be put under. In fact, the Decepticons loathe him so much that often they will threaten their own underlings by saying, if you're not careful, I'm going to transfer you to Roadblock's command. And nobody wants that. Yeah, G1 Pretender Roadblock takes the number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9, we have RoadHuler. Sometimes just called Holler. Sometimes he's green. Sometimes he's like an orangey color. I mean, if you go back to the very beginning of Transformers, that very first episode when Cliffjumper says, you know, pull him up, Holler. It's obviously Grapple that's pulling him up, unless Holler is an orangey color. I've heard that Holler can change his color scheme. But long story short, for RoadHuler, as he's often called, is that he is a former Constructicon. A lot of people say, hey, he is probably one of the ones that was there when Megatron was created and woke up, even though Megatron created the Constructicons. It's really strange. But long story short, he's basically noted as being a Constructicon who was not a part of Devastator and kind of got fed up with the other Constructicons and fed up with the Decepticons and switched sides. Yeah, I like him. He's a good guy. Why not? RoadHuler takes the number 9 slot. Coming in at number 8, we go very diminutive with the MicroMaster RoadHuler. RoadHuler is the spokesbot for the Autobot Race Car Patrol. And he basically is full of bravado. He talks a lot. He says the same thing kind of in different words many times. But he thinks that everything he has to say is important. He thinks everything he has to say has value. And you know what? Maybe he's right. He likes to talk big to the big warriors and say that the MicroMasters can hang with the big boys. He likes to talk trash to the Decepticons and say, hey, you guys aren't as good as us. And you know what? He believes in his diminutive little team and everything that they bring to the table. RoadHuler, the ultimate cheerleader, the ultimate spokesperson, the ultimate motivational speaker, takes the number 8 slot. Coming in at number 7, we go back to Combiner Wars and Offroad. I'm so glad that this guy made the list. He was introduced in Combiner Wars. Basically, he filled the hole left by Wild Rider on the Stunticons when Wild Rider was taken offline or something. He takes on Wild Rider's color scheme. He becomes a leg. He tries to fill the shoes, fill the void, be a part of the team and whatnot. Not really fitting in, but doing his best. I love the added teal and the green face to kind of, you know, he has the gray and the red like Wild Rider, but he has his own hints of color to be like, but I'm not Wild Rider. I'm my own bot and my own guy. I think he struggles with his identity a bit, but that makes him kind of engaging. Plus, the truck alt mode is pretty darn cool. Yeah, Offroad, glad he made the list, glad he had the votes. And he takes the number 7 slot. Number 6 is an Autobot laser cycle, and perhaps the Autobot's answer to Nightwing, because it's the ninja known as Road Rocket. Great alt mode. I know it's a Cybertronian, I don't know what you would call it really, I guess motorcycle, Cybertronian motorcycle mode. Although it kind of looks like a small motorcycle that we could have on Earth anyway, for the most part. I know the way the seat is and the way the arms are behind her, maybe not. But like, you can see how that could become an Earth mode bike pretty darn quick. I like the actual Jazz or the laser cycle version of the mold. Besides that, this one was really an abysmal disaster, which was unfortunate. The G1 laser cycles were really neat, really fun, and I had high hopes for this one because I didn't get the RC. I had to fix everything here. She's much better now. She's workable now, but I shouldn't have had to fix it, you know? That said, I love the idea of the character. I love the red and black color scheme with the hints of blue. I love that she's a ninja. I love the head sculpt. I kind of love the alt mode. There's a lot here to love. Whether we're talking about the original, the character, or the Chaos, or not Chaos and Velocitron, the Velocitron Speedia 500 version. I just wish that mine had great tolerances out of the box. The laser cycle known as Road Rocket takes the number 6 slot. And now a hush falls over the crowd because we've reached the ever-coveted, ever-popular halfway mark. And funny enough, at the halfway mark today, we don't even technically have a Transformer because it's Road Ranger, the GotBot Road Ranger. Now I know that this is black and orange and red. I don't know why, and I have no idea why it looks like Huffer when we all know that Road Ranger is a Guardian robot that is blue and red. He's a transport truck. The only thing that I've ever been able to figure with it is that in Transformers they said, hey, we already have a blue and red transport truck, so we're going to do something else with Road Ranger, which was make him this. But he was able to count this time because he does exist in Transformers via Transtech. But in essence, we all know that this is, much like Bug Bite, much like Treads, much like Pathfinder, this is an adaptation of the GotBot's character, a la Tonka's version. Road Ranger, a little bit out of left field, and there's not much to say about the character other than like he's brave and he hopes to be the leader of the group, the convoy, the whatever that goes to take out the renegades once and for all, right? He's just a good little soldier lad. Road Ranger takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 might be my favorite entrant on the list because it's the most creative. It's Broadside. And of course, Road is in the name. I love the Titans Return Broadside. I know he gets a lot of flack. I get it. I absolutely, under no circumstances, would want this to be a Titan. I'm not paying a Titan price for Broadside. Get realistic. I might be in for a commander class of this guy though. If I never, ever get another version of Broadside, I really like this one. So I'm cool with that. Same with the Tidal Wave. Like, I have the Tidal Wave version of this and I like it just fine. I know that people will say it's small. I think the Titan was a bit too big to go. Although, because it's a small Titan, I think it's okay. I still think commander class is the way to go for you know, this and for Tidal Wave, but that's just me. Nevertheless, I digress. Road is definitely in his name. He's a great triple changer, didn't appear in a ton of fiction, but you know what? When he does appear, he tends to kind of be a game changer, a la Landing on Devastator, for example. I like Broadside. I don't think he gets all the love he deserves, and I'm so glad that a lot of people were creative enough in their voting to add this guy to the list. Coming in at number 3 is a little known one to a lot of fans, but those who know him absolutely adore Rad Caesar. So Rad Caesar is a combiner. Unlike other combiners, he's an excellent warrior. He's very intelligent. He takes the very best parts of his 3 components, Blacker, Braver, and Laster, I think is their names, and like takes the bravery, takes the I guess the strength and the intelligence, and brings them all together. He has the Road Blade, which is like a great big sword, and he does this, I can't remember what it's called now, it's like these rings of energy fire that comes from like his 12 tires. Even Rad Caesar struggles to stand toe-to-toe with the awesome might of Rad Caesar. Yeah, Rad Caesar takes the number 3 slot. Number 2 is Road Rage, and what a great character. Too bad she hasn't really appeared in much fiction. She is the bodyguard basically of Crosscut. She's appeared in some comic books and stuff, but it's too bad she hasn't been on like shows, I guess I should say. Anyway, I digress. She is the bodyguard of Senator Crosscut, and she's pretty calm, pretty understanding, pretty intelligent, pretty even keel in this mode, if not even fun-loving. But then when she turns into her vehicle mode, well, that's when the Road Rage takes over. And that's when she's pretty unreasonable, unruly, and likes to go fast. The Kingdom version of the mold got a lot of flack. Mine has slightly loose left leg, I think. A slightly loose left leg. I think that's the only one. I like the mold. I love the transformation. I like how the entire outside of the leg, like, flips up around, but that's just me. I know that this mold gets a lot of flack, but I love it. Love it more than the MP, which I do think is not that great. Could Trax and her, you know, use another go around? Maybe, but for me, I think that this was pretty darn good. Road Rage, great character, great look in both robot and vehicle mode. It's pretty slick with that nice red color. Great bot, and she takes the number 2 slot. And now here we are at the very, very tippy top, number 1. And number 1 won by a landslide, much like last week. We're looking at a difference here of, let's see, in my notes. We're looking at a difference of another 50 votes. So like a big difference, because at number 1 we have the wrecker known as Roadbuster. And I get it, Roadbuster is, he's armed to the teeth. He's a nice guy, he's really confident on the battlefield, but unfortunately all Roadbuster knows is battle. It's why he's a great wrecker and willing to do the dirty jobs. The guy thrives on the battlefield. He thrives with the violence, to be quite frank. And without it, he almost doesn't know what to do with himself. He has no other hobbies. He has no other interests. He has no other frame of thinking than combat and battle. If he's not out on the battlefield, then he's looking for kind of errant Decepticons that are around, or he's planning for the next possible attack or possible battle. If the war was to actually end once and for all, no more threats, what would this wrecker do with himself? Who knows if we'll ever find out? Who knows if we want to find out? In the meantime, as long as the Decepticons or any other threat in the universe is a threat to the Autobots, you can expect this wrecker to be ready for the call at any given time, and ready to defend the Autobot cause at any given time. For that reason, and based on so many overwhelming votes, Roadbuster took the number 1 slot. That's 10 down to 1 once again. Who else had some votes? What about Road Fire? A part of Big Powered, right? With Die Atlas and I can't remember the other guy's name right now. Sonic Bomber. That's the other guy's name. What about the Dairy Con Roadkill? I think that was a Micromaster actually. Slapdash or Road King, if you will. Road Burn. Some people tried to vote for Rodimus Prime. Like, guys, come on, that's just a bad Japanese dub. We all know it's Rodimus Prime and they mispronounced it. Some dude voted for Steve. No, that was just a distraction. And then he kept talking about it and we had this big long conversation. And it was like, all you've done is take up more of my valuable time. Give it up. A bunch of people voted for Roadhead. Ha ha ha. I'm sure that we all know what the joke is. But guess what? It's actually a transformer. He turns into a truck. And he's known to be an irresponsible life of the party. What about Roadmaster? What about Roadhugger? I like this Spin Road. What about Energon Roadblock? Road Police, Road Pig. And just for good measure, what about Road Grabber? Them and even more. Who knew there were so many Transformers with the word road in their names? I didn't know. When I done this list, honestly, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to have 10 for this one. Guess we'll see. And sure enough, we did. That and more. Let me know if your favorites made the list or not. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.